available out there on the market. And it is a bit surprising. It's not like incredibly shocking, but it is a bit surprising, right? He's kind of been a journey guy. The last two places where he's really had success in, he's had a lot of just issues coming out of those organizations, him and just being critical of his playing time, him just being critical in the locker room, and just so he's kind of generated this buzz about him. And he's a very good, very talented player, but it's like, is he worth the squeeze to bring him in and maybe disrupt chemistry or disrupt just issues in the locker room or highlight other areas, right? Like it becomes a real question mark for a guy like Christian Wood. There's no doubt that he's a guy that can impact a roster and impact a team in general to be better. This guy's a guy that can give you 16 points per game, 8 rebounds, play the center or the power forward position, stretch the floor, do multiple things. He's not great and known as a defender, so that's a negative mark there. And teams are like, well, this guy might be slightly worse than Christian Wood, but we don't have to deal with the headache that comes with Christian Wood. We've seen lots of, look at guys like Kyrie Irving, right? Kyrie is an incredible talent, one of the greatest talents we've ever seen, and he had trouble getting a job, right? When you get this stigma attached to you, whether it's rightful or not, it doesn't matter. Teams want to avoid you and stay away. So you're seeing lots of reports of Christian Wood where he's not getting anything more than a vet minimum contract. Teams are willing to bring him on, but they want to bring him on essentially a prove-it deal, and they want to bring him on a vet minimum contract. And there aren't many teams that can pay him more than a vet minimum, and any of the young teams that do have cap space, like the Spurs, for example. Why would the Spurs want to sign Christian Wood? Like, they don't want that headache in their locker room with Victor Wembanyama, who they're trying to shape and mold, right? They have their culture. They just extended Greg Popovich. They're like, the last thing they want is a guy like Christian Wood on their roster. So you're basically just going to either middle of the pack teams that maybe they just want to fill their spot and there's nobody else available. So maybe you get like the taxpayer mid-level, or you're going to a team that actually can contend and you can win on, and you're getting, the vet minimum. Because I mean, think of the team, think of the Phoenix Suns. Like, you're telling me the Phoenix Suns wouldn't gladly take Christian Wood with their need for depth and size? Of course they would. You don't think the Golden State Warriors, they just signed Saric, right? Like, Dario Saric went before Christian Wood did. Like, you don't think that he would have been valuable for the Warriors? But the thing is, it's just the stigma of like, hey, like, if we bring him in, that's going to be a culture issue, right? We just shipped off Jordan Poole because of the culture issues. Last thing we need is Christian Wood coming in, and then Draymond's got to put him in his place, right? Like, teams are weary of Christian Wood, but he is very talented. Now, all that being said, the Lakers have been linked to Christian Wood heavily lately. And it makes sense, right? The Lakers, they need a big man. They need preferably a veteran-style big man. Now, he's not a traditional center. The Lakers do need a more beefier center, but talent trumps everything, right? If it's, say, DeMarcus Cousins or Christian Wood, you go with Christian Wood, right? Like, yes, DeMarcus Cousins would help against the Jokic's of the world and the Embiids of the world, but Christian Wood is a guy that can give you 16 on any given night, who he can start, he can come off the bench, he can do multiple things, right? So Christian Wood makes a world of sense, and especially at a vet minimum, it's so low risk, high reward. I mean, Christian Wood on a vet minimum might be one of the best vet minimum contracts in the league, if not the best in the league, just because what he can bring to the Lakers. The problem is several things. One, obviously the locker room issues, but you have guys like Darvin Ham, who he is a player coach. He is a guy that has this ability about him to get people to buy in, to get people to kind of understand and fit where they need to fit. He's great at getting guys that are bad defenders into decent defenders. So I do think Christian Wood could actually be a serviceable defender. I don't think he's going to be an elite defender or anything, but I do think he could be serviceable. And you have guys like LeBron James on this roster who, that the pecking order is clear, right? Okay, and LeBron ain't going to take any mess. They'll be fine, I think, with him. I think Christian Wood needs the Lakers more than the Lakers need Christian Wood. I think if Christian Wood is smart, he will sign with the Lakers. And I know some people might be looking at that. Of course you would say that because you're a Laker fan. No. Even if I wasn't, even if you're watching this and you're not a Laker fan, hear me out. Christian Wood's whole stigma right now is that he's not a team player, he's not a locker room guy, and the juice isn't worth the squeeze, right? What have we seen with the Los Angeles Lakers year in and year out, over and over and over again? Players that have had that same stigma, players that have been underrated, all going to the Lakers and then leaving the following year with actual contracts and just completely erased of that stigma. Right? I mean, even guys like, look at Lonnie Walker just got a contract. Dennis Schroeder just got a really good contract. When a year ago, he was a vet minimum, and the year before that, teams were only offering him $5 million. He just got $13 million a year after 1 year with the Lakers. Lonnie Walker just got paid after 1 year with the Lakers. Mo Bamba just got paid after 1 year with the Lakers. Malik Beasley just got paid after 1 year with the Lakers, right? And went to the Milwaukee Bucks. Right before that, you had Malik Monk, who went and got paid with the Sacramento Kings. Right, you got all of these players who time and time again come to Lakers, and it's because of the stage, it's because of the spotlight, it's because of the impact that you have on the Lakers is much bigger than if he went to, say, Detroit and played well. One, people would be looking at that as like, once again, he's a good player on a bad team, so of course everything's inflated. Two, it's like, they don't get the coverage and the exposure and everything like that as a Los Angeles Lakers team does. So if he goes to the Lakers and he has success, and there's no words of him being nonsense in the locker room, and everything's fitting right, and all is good, and he's able to come in and give you 16 a game, and 7 rebounds or whatever, and whether he comes off the bench or he starts or he does what, he's going to play. Right? So he's not going to come to the Lakers and, play 10 minutes a game. No, he's going to play. And to be fair, in his defense, the environments in the last 2 destinations weren't great. Like, Houston was a disaster when he was there. Not only was it a disaster when he was there, then he goes and gets traded to Dallas, and he was their second best player, and they just, for whatever reason, Jason Kidd just wouldn't play him. Wouldn't start him, nothing. Right? Like, he was playing like 20 minutes a game, and some nights he was like not even playing. Like, it was just, again, it was a mess. Where I think if he came to the Lakers will say, this is your role. This is what you're going to play. This is what we're going to need from you. Some nights you're going to play heavy minutes. You might start a lot too, because Anthony Davis and LeBron James are probably going to miss 30 games each. So you come here when Anthony Davis isn't playing, you get to be our starter. If LeBron isn't playing, you get to be our starter. Otherwise, you're coming off the bench as the first backup big with you and Jackson Hayes, and you'll come in for LeBron, and then Hayes will come in for AD, and then you two will be our front court immediately after LeBron and AD. And then we'll run some sets with you and Anthony Davis. We'll run some sets with you and LeBron James, right? We'll find you minutes. We'll figure this out. But we need you to come in. We need you to buy in. We need you to play your role. Right now, the perception of you is terrible. You could potentially be out of the league if you keep this up. We are a destination. We are a place in which you can come and settle in and actually prove to the world that you're a great player, that it just wants to win. Right? There are plenty of players that had terrible stigmas that went to a good organization and were great. I mean, look at Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler was becoming a journeyman, and people were talking all this mess about him and how he's a locker room issue and he's this and that, and went to Miami, and you haven't heard a peep about it since. All you hear is how Jimmy Butler is Jimmy Buckets and this, that, and the other, right? You just have to find the proper fit, the proper destination. I think with Anthony Davis and LeBron James, I think they'll be able, and Phil Handy, right, and Darvin Ham, I think Christian Wood on the Lakers is the best destination for him, right? Maybe Miami might be another good destination, because again, you have, Pat Riley, you have Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, they end up getting Damian Lillard, right? They have cultural guys as well as a culture, plus a coach, plus a organization that can kind of help them. I don't think the Lakers are the only spot. I think Miami would be a good destination, but he needs somewhere that has structure in place, that has the vets that can keep him in line, that has the ability to win, because winning trumps everything. And I do think the Lakers fit that beautifully for him. I think the Lakers check off everything that you would want him to check off. Now, obviously, he wants to go get a bag. Obviously, he wants to get paid. That's not on the table, right? Like, and you want to go to a bad team and then what? Go through this all over again, and you're going to get a team that signs you on a 1 year, $15 million a year deal, and then you're out of the league. Or do you want to come to Lakers, make, what is his vet minimum, $3 million or whatever? Come this year, make $3 million. If it works out great for us, then we'll keep you and we'll extend you and we'll sign you to a new contract next year, right? LeBron's money's falling off. Some of the other guys' money's falling off. We'll have money to be able to give you a new contract. So if it works here, then great. Now you have your home. If it doesn't, and or let's just say it does go well, but we're going in a different direction, the exposure and the view and perception of you will completely change. You're gonna go get that contract. Would you rather have $15 million this year and potentially be out of the league next year, or would you rather just take $3 million this year and next year get a 4-year deal that's worth $60 million, or even a 4-year deal that's worth $40 million? Right? Like, you're getting more longevity money. I think Christian Wood needs the Lakers more than the Lakers need Christian Wood. Because if Christian Wood comes to the Lakers, they're going to have to figure it out. Because they're already depth. They already have a ton of depth on the perimeter and in the front court, right? I mean, you got Rui, you got Vanderbilt, you got Reddish, you got Taurean Prince, right? You have LeBron James, you have Anthony Davis, right? You got Jackson Hayes. There's 7 guys right there. So, got to find minutes for all those guys, but Christian Wood might be better than all of those guys, outside of LeBron and AD, but might be better than all of those guys. Maybe not Rui, but he's there. He's in that, like, Rui, LeBron, AD, Christian Wood would probably be your 4 best at those positions. So that's probably where you're looking at. So I do think Christian Wood makes sense, and I do think he would play. I do think if he buys in, he plays his role, he doesn't cause problems, he does what he's needed to do, I think he's going to have success, not only with the Lakers, but future success. And I'd like to see him have some future success. I think he's a very good player. He just needs to kind of reshape his image. And I think we have seen enough sample size of players reshaping their images. I mean, you can even look at Austin Reeves. Austin Reeves, it wasn't an image issue, but this was a guy that took a chance on himself, right? This was a guy that could have went and got drafted, said, no, I don't want to get drafted. I want to go to the Lakers. Ends up not getting drafted, goes to the Lakers, plays 2 years, balls out, and now he just got a contract. And if he could have gotten more, he would have gotten more, right? Like the only reason he got 4 years, what was it, $56 million, was because that was the most that they could offer him. Right? If he could have gotten 4 years, $100 million from the Lakers, then he probably would have gotten that. Right? So if you're Christian Wood, you got to be looking at those sample sizes and going like, okay, like they have a clear track record. Let me go there. Let me play well. Let me do what I need to do, and I'll be good. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. Do you agree with me? Disagree with me? How do you feel? Whatever your thoughts are, love to hear it. Let me know.